Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to be doing a video of things I really don't like about my 2001 Trans Am. So I've had this car for a while now, about 2 years. Put a few thousand miles on it. Had a lot of experience with it. And this video will be just some things I've came across that I really don't like about it. One being the interior quality. Now, I knew what I was getting into when I bought this car. I've got a lot of experience with these. But it's still got to be said, interior quality, quite horrendous. We got a lot of plastics. It's very loud inside, especially with the T-tops and the leather interior. Got a lot of rattles, a lot of road noise, a lot of just overall road vibration. So if you're looking for luxury, this is not the car for you. That being said, it's quite comfortable, but it is very noisy, very rattly. Interior quality, not very good. Another thing I don't like about the car, we'll pop the hood. Look in the engine bay. Now, while I love this engine with a passion, LS1 is legendary, it is not very accessible in this engine bay. About 1.5 cylinders are under the windshield, which is quite inconvenient to do just about anything. Now, even up in the front of the engine, stuff's squeezed together pretty tightly here, so even to change something like a water pump, I mean, you're not dealing with a whole lot of space. So we're just pretty snug in that engine bay, and doing any kind of work on that LS1, it's pretty difficult. Now, thankfully, it's a pretty solid engine, and you don't have to do a whole lot of work very often. But when you do want to do something such as camming it or whatnot, you do run out of space pretty quick. Another thing I don't like about it is the clearance between the top of the intake manifold and the windshield cowl is not big enough to fit just about any root style supercharger. So you kind of have to go with a Pro Charger, a turbo, or you got to cut the cowl to run a root style blower. So that kind of sucks, because if I had my choice, I would definitely run a root style supercharger. But it's simply not doable on this car. So we'll shut the hood. Another thing I don't like about these cars is the sail panel here. These are known to bubble up. Now, thankfully, this one hasn't. It might have been replaced sometime before I owned it, but a lot of these, they get bubbled up, and the only way to fix it is you got to peel this whole panel off and then get a panel from a 93 to 97, because those don't bubble up. Another thing I don't like about this car is the taillights can tint unevenly over time as water gets in them. Thankfully, this one hasn't. I think this one's been garage kept most of its life. But on my V6 Firebird, the taillights tint unevenly and it looks really bad. So I don't like that. Another thing I'm not a huge fan of is the, while I love T-tops, they do leak. This car is no exception. I get, whenever it rains and I drive in the rain, I get a leak coming in right about here, and that is quite annoying. One of the biggest things I absolutely cannot stand about this car is the skip shift. So when you take off in first gear and you take off like a sensible human being, the car punishes you for doing so by making you go from first all the way to fourth. It's got a kicker that you try to go to second and it'll kick you out of second and make you go into fourth. It's very irritating. It takes you a long time to get used to. The best solution I found is that you just can't fight it. If you try to fight it, you're not going to have a good time. So you got to go right from first to fourth and let the car do what it wants to do. Now, they do make things to delete this, and I will probably be looking into that very soon, because I'm just about fed up with having to go from first to fourth all the time, because it is quite annoying. But other than that, that's all the main stuff I don't like about the car. The factory stereo is pretty good. This one does not have the factory speakers anymore, unfortunately. But the factory stereo is pretty good. But that about does it. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. See you next time.